Good morning. It's Monday, and we're back from spring break. I read a couple of books, maybe not as many as I would have normally read over a 2 week period, but I really strongly feel like reading is sometimes like Goldilocks and the Three Little Bears. Sometimes a book is too boring, or sometimes it's too involved, or sometimes it's too big, sometimes it's too small. Like, it needs to be just right for me to love it and to read it. And so when you guys come into the library and say, I don't read, I get that. I don't read books that don't speak to me either. So I don't read a lot of horror, and I don't read graphic novels because that's not what I love. And if I don't love it, I don't want to read it. That makes perfect sense to me. So I get that if you haven't found a book that really, really you love, that you connect with, of course you don't read. Why would you read stuff you don't like? And so I read maybe this last 2 weeks than normal, because I was sort of in that weird in between. Like, I'd finish a book and be like, and I would go from there. So I'm going to talk about the books I read over the last 2 weeks. And several of them I read on my Kindle, so I'm just going to show this little fun screen. And it's super tiny. It's super, super tiny. I can't even get it to show up. How far in do I need to go? There we go. The Light of Luna Park, Sunkissed, and Our Woman in Moscow. So The Light of Luna Park was actually historical fiction about 1926, when newborn babies didn't survive if they were preemies. Like, if you came a month or two early, if you weighed less than 4 pounds, too bad. You just weren't going to make it. And it's not even that they didn't have the technology. They had incubators in 1926, but hospitals didn't use them. Do you know who did use them? Circus ships. So Luna Park was on Coney Island, and there was a man who trained in Europe with the person who invented incubators. He brought the incubators back to America and installed them in this show, so to speak. And you would pay money to look at the babies. And the nurses would do these things, like they'd take their rings off and slide their rings over the legs of the babies. And so they had this whole sideshow freak thing going on that actually paid for the incubators and the wet nurses and the actual nurses who took care of the babies. And so this nurse who worked at a hospital, the baby was they're just going to let it die. And she's like, I don't want to let another baby die. So she kidnaps the baby and she takes it to the sideshow, and the baby survives. Great historical fiction. If you like historical fiction, we have a lot of it here in the library, but we don't have this one yet. So Sunkissed by Casey West is exactly what you would think when I say Casey West. It was a nice, fluffy, lighthearted romance. Nothing too heavy, nothing too trigger warning. It was just good. I enjoy it. This one was actually set at a camp. A girl and her sister go with their parents, one who's a professor and one who's a school teacher. So they both have the summers off. They go to the camp all summer, like 8 weeks of this summer camp. And there's no internet and there's no cell service. So you can imagine things are a little different for these girls. And of course they're boys. It's a romance. It was really cute though. I really enjoyed it. Our Woman in Moscow was another historical fiction about spies and the Soviet spy ring that was broken up in England, and the people who defected back to Moscow to escape being put in jail. Except in this one, there was a double agent, Our Woman in Moscow. This is really good. I enjoy Beatrice Williams. I enjoy everything that she writes, so I really did like it. If you're interested in inspiring historical fiction, we do have some of that here in the library. Most of it is about World War II, but we do have that. So I'm still reading The Bridgertons a little bit at a time. This one was number 3, An Offer from a Gentleman, and it is about Benedict, brother number 2, in the Bridgerton family. It was really good. He falls in love with a girl at a masked ball, and she disappears, and he has nothing left but her glove. Like, that sounds familiar, right? Like, it was super Cinderella-y. But I liked it. It was good. This one was not my jam. I do not like an unreliable narrator. It's a mystery. I do not like it when you cannot trust the people telling you the story. So this girl is pretending to be a psychic. she's really just one of those people who just pays a lot of attention to detail. And so it lets her get away with the psychic number. She makes a little money on the side. But her mom thinks she's actually psychic herself. Like, so the mom is psychic. And there's a kidnapping in town. And the girl knows about it because she's kind of in on it. And it's her job to direct the police where they're supposed to go. There are some twisty bits. It was definitely not an ending I was expecting. But it also kind of got on my last nerve, and it did put me off books for like 2 or 3 days and slowed me down there. If you guys need some books for spring, if you want to read some romance or some historical fiction or some good mystery or even some unreliable narrator mystery, if that's your thing, come talk to us. We'd love to hand you some books.